welcome. Today, we're diving into one of the most important, high-scoring, and honestly one of the most fascinating chapters from your Class 12 syllabus, Human Reproduction. Now, I know why this chapter is absolutely critical for you. It's not just about acing your boards or cracking NEET, it's about understanding the very essence of how life begins. So let's get right into it.
Okay, so to really master this chapter, we need a solid game plan. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the big picture. Then we'll look at the male and female systems individually. After that, we'll get into the processes of making gametes and the menstrual cycle, and we'll finish up by putting your knowledge to the test in our exam corner. Sound good? Let's begin.
All right, first up, let's get a bird's eye view. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of all the different organs and hormones, we need to understand the entire sequence of events, from start to finish. Think of this as the storyline of reproduction.
So, human reproduction is like a beautifully ordered sequence of events, a chain where every link is crucial. It all kicks off with gametogenesis. That's just a fancy word for making the gametes, the sperm and the ovum. Next up, insemination, transferring the sperm. Then comes the main event, fertilization, the fusion. After that, the newly formed zygote has to attach to the uterine wall, which we call implantation. This leads to gestation, the 9-month development period. And the grand finale, parturition, or childbirth. You absolutely have to know this sequence by heart. It forms the backbone of the entire chapter.
Now that we have the overview, let's start looking at the hardware. We'll begin with the male reproductive system, which is basically designed to do two things: produce sperm and deliver it.
The whole system is located in the pelvis region, and you can think of it as a complete manufacturing and delivery unit. The testes, they're the main factories. The accessory ducts are the pipelines. The accessory glands, they provide all the essential fluids and nutrients. And finally, the external genitalia are responsible for the delivery. Simple as that.
Now pay close attention here, because this slide has two killer points for your exams. First, the scrotum. Ever wondered why the testes are located outside the main body cavity? Well, it's a brilliant piece of engineering. It keeps the temperature about 2 to 2.5 degrees Celsius cooler than the rest of the body. This is non-negotiable for making healthy sperm, a process called spermatogenesis. Second, seminal plasma. Remember, semen isn't just sperm. It's this nutritive cocktail, rich in fructose for energy, calcium, and enzymes, all thanks to those accessory glands. Examiners absolutely love asking about the composition of seminal plasma.
Fantastic. Now let's switch gears and talk about the female reproductive system. This system is incredibly complex because it doesn't just produce the ovum, it's also where the entire 9-month development from a single cell to a baby takes place.
So just like the male system, it's located in the pelvis region. We have the ovaries, the oviducts, which you also know as fallopian tubes, the uterus, cervix, vagina, and the external genitalia. But here's something important to remember. The mammary glands are functionally integrated into this system. They're essential for nourishing the baby after birth, so they're very much a part of the whole story.
Now, if there's one thing you absolutely must remember about the ovary, it's this. It has a dual function. This is a very, very important point. First, of course, it produces the female gamete, the ovum. But second, it's also a major endocrine organ. It produces crucial steroid hormones like estrogen and progesterone, which pretty much run the entire show. So, it's a gamete producer and a hormone factory. Please, make a star next to this in your notes.
Okay, we've covered the anatomy, the what and where. Now let's get into the physiology, the how. We're going to explore how these amazing gametes are actually formed, and then look at the rhythmic, monthly event known as the menstrual cycle.
You know, this comparison is just fascinating. Spermatogenesis in males is a continuous assembly line. It kicks off at puberty and just keeps going, churning out millions of sperm. But oogenesis in females, it's a completely different story. It actually starts when the female is still a fetus, then it pauses for over a decade, and finally resumes at puberty. And it stops completely around age 50 at menopause. Plus, it typically produces only one mature ovum per month. What a contrast, right?
The menstrual cycle is this beautiful, synchronized dance of hormones and organs every month. Let's break it down. It starts with the menstrual phase, where the uterine lining is shed. Then comes the follicular phase, where a new egg follicle develops and the uterine lining starts to rebuild. The big moment is ovulation, right around day 14, when the egg is released thanks to a massive spike in a hormone called LH, the LH surge. Finally, the luteal phase is all about getting the uterus ready just in case of a pregnancy.
So we have the gametes and we understand the cycle. Now for the most incredible part of the story, Let's trace the journey from the moment of conception all the way to the birth of the baby.
Okay, so after insemination, it's like a race begins. Millions of sperm swim towards the fallopian tube. Their final destination? A specific place called the ampullary region. This is where fertilization happens. One and only one sperm will fuse with the ovum, creating a diploid zygote. This single cell then starts dividing like crazy. We call this cleavage, and forms a structure called a blastocyst, which finally travels down and burrows into the uterine wall. And that's implantation.
Once implantation is successful, the 9-month period of gestation begins. And as you can see in this diagram, the embryo is now tucked away safely in the uterus. It's going to be protected and nourished here as it grows from just a small ball of cells into a fully developed baby. It's just an amazing process.
Now, how does the fetus get everything it needs? Through this incredible organ called the placenta. Don't think of it as just a connection. The placenta is a powerhouse. It delivers oxygen and nutrients, sure, but it's also a temporary endocrine gland. It pumps out vital hormones like HCG. This is the one detected in pregnancy tests. HPL, estrogens, and progestogens, all of which are essential to keep the pregnancy going.
And that brings us to the end of the pregnancy. Parturition, or childbirth, is a complex event triggered by signals from both the nervous system and hormones, a neuroendocrine mechanism. And after birth comes lactation. I really want you to remember this word, colostrum. It's the first milk produced, and it's basically liquid gold. It is packed with antibodies that provide the newborn with ready-made immunity. Absolutely vital.
All right, team. You've done a great job absorbing all that information. Now, it's time to switch gears into exam mode. Let's see how you can apply all these concepts to the kind of questions you'll actually face in your NEET and CBSE exams. Let's do this.
Okay, here's your first question, a classic PYQ. The fusion of male and female gametes is called blank, and it takes place in the blank. Read the options carefully, take a second, pause if you need to, and think about the answer.
And the correct answer is B, fertilization ampulla. The fusion itself is called fertilization, and the specific location is the ampullary region. This is a fundamental concept and a very common question. If you got that right, fantastic. Let's do one more. This structure, which provides a vascular connection between the fetus and uterus, is called, again, think about the function described here. What's that crucial connection?
And the answer is, of course, D, placenta. The placenta is that amazing structural and functional unit, the lifeline between the developing fetus and the mother. Well done.
Okay, before we wrap up, let's do a super quick, rapid-fire revision of the absolute must-know points. Humans are viviparous. Spermatogenesis is continuous, oogenesis is not. Fertilization happens in the ampulla, the placenta is a hormonal factory, parturition is a neuroendocrine reflex, and colostrum is the baby's first immunity booster. I'd suggest you take a screenshot of this slide. It's perfect for last-minute revision.
And always remember, success isn't about one giant leap. It's about all the small, consistent efforts you put in every single day. So keep revising, keep practicing, and stay focused on that dream. You are going to achieve it. If this session helped you, please do hit that like button, share it with your friends who might benefit, and subscribe for more deep dives into your syllabus. Thank you for joining me, and happy learning.